There was a boy named Irfan born in the slums where dreams were too expensive for people like him, but Irfan had dreams so big they almost mocked his reality. He delivered newspapers in the morning, washed dishes at night, and looked at the city's lights like they were promises made only to others. One day, while delivering food, he stepped into a world he had never seen. The mansion of Malik Bashir, a business tycoon with power, money, and everything Irfan had ever wanted. He saw the velvet curtains, the gold-framed portraits, the silence that only the rich live in, and something inside him snapped. From that day, Irfan stopped dreaming and started planning. He followed Bashir, he studied him, he watched how he walked, how he spoke, how he made enemies, and how he crushed them. Irfan became invisible around him, slowly collecting pieces of a life he wanted to steal. And one night he struck Bashir, left for his private farmhouse like always, but this time Irfan was already there, waiting, hidden in the shadows. He poisoned Bashir's drink, burned his body, and dumped the ashes into the lake. The death was marked as a natural heart attack, and no one suspected the boy who once delivered food. Weeks later, Irfan took Bashir's place in the company, pretending to be a trusted assistant, climbing the ladder, and within a year he became Malik Irfan, the new king of the empire. But there was one thing he hadn't noticed: a pair of eyes that saw everything. That night, Bashir's 11-year-old son Daniel never spoke of what he saw, but he never forgot either. Irfan raised him like a son, sent him to the best schools, gave him everything a father would, but Daniel's silence was not of gratitude, it was of revenge. 15 years passed. Daniel turned into a sharp, quiet man. He worked in Irfan's company, wore the same suits, smiled the same smiles, but his heart was frozen. In one moment, the night his father gasped for air on the floor while a stranger watched him die, Daniel started planning slowly, just like Irfan had done years ago. He reconnected with the black market dealers who once worked with Irfan. He found the same type of poison that had killed his father. He started dosing Irfan's drinks, micro amounts, so he would fall apart day by day. But that was not all. Daniel wanted Irfan to suffer, not just physically but mentally. He began to play games with his mind. First, Bashir's old watch appeared in the house, then his voice recorded on a tape played in the study, then a photograph bloodstained placed next to Irfan's bed with the words written below, "You forgot me, I didn't forget you." Irfan began to lose sleep. Shadows haunted him. Every mirror felt like it showed two people, his own reflection and someone behind him. Every knock on the door felt like a death sentence. And then came the night Daniel finally stood before him, calmly holding a cup of coffee, the way Irfan once had years ago. Daniel said, "I'm the boy you raised with your stolen wealth, and I'm here to return what you gave me." Irfan looked at the cup, smiled, and drank. He collapsed within minutes. Daniel knelt beside him and whispered the same words Irfan once heard echoing from a dying man, "Now you die the same way you killed my father." But then Irfan laughed slowly, weakly, but with a strange sense of victory, and he said, "Do you really think you've won, Daniel? I have always been one step ahead of you. That coffee you served me was already meant for you." Daniel froze. Irfan said, "I've known for weeks what you've been doing. I've been waiting for this moment. I switched the cups long before you entered the room, and now you'll die too, not because of revenge, but because you became what I was, a killer." And Irfan collapsed a few minutes before Daniel began coughing blood. Both men lying on the floor, not as father and son, not as victim and killer, but as reflections of the same story. 3 days later, both bodies were discovered by the staff, two powerful names dead under one roof. The city mourned and moved on, but a letter was found in Irfan's drawer with no address, no name, just a message written in red. "If you thought I was the villain and you were the hero, look again. Killers never die alone, and revenge is only justice when your hands remain clean. You dirtied yours and joined me in the grave, but remember, every killer leaves behind a successor. I left you, who will you leave behind?" And so the story ends, not with justice, not with redemption, but with a cycle unbroken. Somewhere a new shadow is born, watching, learning, waiting for the night when silence returns and bloodlines begin again.